Hey everybody and welcome to Game Appreciation. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, John, haven't you already done a video on Limbo? And I did, and I had a lot of fun playing through that again. I had a lot of fun trying to work out what the whole thing was about. And so I thought, I'm just going to do a full playthrough, in depth, talking about everything that interests me. Let's go straight into it. Now I love this opening scene because we're in a sort of limbo state already where we're in the actual game, but you don't realise it until you press a button. And then there's this slow dawning as the boy's eyes open, gets up. He's just sort of emerging from the landscape because he's not even as dark black as the foreground. He's this sort of middle grey. Obviously, first thing I'm going to do is go left, because if the game looks like it wants you to go right, you've got to test the limits. I love the atmosphere it generates straight away. There's this flashes of light through the trees. He's just this silhouette sort of blending with everything. The foreground, the trees in the foreground are wonderful. I love how the camera pulls away to make him look so small straight away. And we die straight away because we really shouldn't have jumped there. So let's try that again. Without jumping this time, we're just going to slide down and jump over what is probably the first thing that's supposed to kill you. So Limbo is a game about loneliness, according to the developers. As I mentioned in the video I did before, I kind of feel like this is set in a space between life and death. I imagine that this kid that we're playing is probably actually an adult lying somewhere in a hospital bed, in a coma. And this is his weird memory, imagination, dream. And I kind of feel like this section right here, this boat journey, kind of ties into that, because you've got the old Greek myths of crossing the rivers of Hades, the Styx. I kind of think that's what's happening at the moment. We're moving from when he was alive into this sort of limbo afterlife. Also a lovely little puzzle, because it's the first time you see that you can move things about in the world. Although actually I guess we just did that with the crate up top, didn't we? But still, it makes you think that the things you see in the world have got more than one use. That boat wasn't just to get us across the river. Again, you see the light coming in. I keep wanting to point at the screen to point things out to you guys, but then I realise that you can't see me because my webcam's not working at the moment. And even if you could see me, you wouldn't be able to see the screen. So the camera does this really nice thing here, where we're just starting to enter these woods, and look how big the trees are in the background. You look so small for them, it's amazing. And then the camera zooms in, and it gets to the closest point right here, with these traps in focus in the foreground. The boy's arms, they stick out a little bit. They let us know it's there, so we can just pull that away and jump over them. Now the camera's in nice and close so we can focus on these puzzles, because this one here you really need to be a little bit closer to see everything that's going on. That was not well done. I talked about this in the other video I did. This is one of my favourite moments in the game, because it's the first time that you actually have to put yourself in danger. You have to jump, you have to drag the trap underneath you, you have to jump on top of it in order to get up here. And there's this flash of light as you get up there, which is kind of a reward. Because this game is going to get dark, and it's going to stay dark. The sound there is really, really great. As we move away from this section, there's a little bit more of a buzz in the background, and that dies away as we move down here. So that when you start to hear these little rocks fall before this boulder comes, it's just a little bit more present in your mind. I love the look of the boy as well. He's kind of gangly with these really thin legs, and that his haircut, really, the point on it is really necessary because it gives you this sense of direction, a little bit even more than the eyes maybe, of where the character's headed. So it's easy for you to see because he's just a silhouette. I think the way the hair is swinging, standing up, kind of just gives him a little bit more of a sense of youth, which I think is important because, like I say, I imagine this actually being like an older character lying in a hospital bed somewhere, dreaming of this. And I think making the boy this silhouette, this blank slate, was really good because it meant that all the players could kind of draw their own conclusions about who he is and fill in the gaps with their own personalities, their own memories, their own memories of childhood. Let's see if I can get down without dying. Can I fall this way? So we haven't actually encountered any other people so far, and that's really important because, like I say, this game kind of about loneliness, and we're travelling through this huge world. Again, look at the trees in the background. Look how big they are compared with the boy. But there are these man-made objects, these traps about, which gives you a sense that this place is inhabited, and pretty soon we're going to be coming up against spider. Now we need to get this trap down, which means we need to trick the spider into hitting the ground a few more times. Do you hear the rumble that started to appear now the spider's here? Really low buzzing noise in the background. Oh, it's such a great sound. I know the trap's just fallen down, but I'm actually going to let him kill me now just to hear the sound effects of that, because it's so well done. There's the low rumble with the high-pitched contrast there. And I love how brutally the boy is thrown about by this thing. Oh, I didn't mean for it to happen a second time. That was me playing badly. Not quite yet. One more time. The spider is a wonderful enemy to put in the game because, for a start with, there's a lot of people scared of spiders. But they are these really alien creatures, recognisable as part of our world, although at this side something pretty terrifying. But compared with most other animals you find in the game, insects, arachnids, they're really freaky. They're just so far removed from the human experience that there's no way you could reason with this thing. I'm doing this badly. Let's try that again. There we go. And I remember that one was going to attack. The way that you gradually defeat the spider, I think, is really nice. The fact that you basically have to deal with it limb by limb. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like we spent a lot of the game descending so far. We seem to be going down a lot more than we're going up. And we're stuck. And again, you can hear that low rumble coming in, which is just such good sound design. I think it's absolutely fantastic that Playdead added all these new animations, this whole new moveset, just for this one section of the game. It's one of the reasons I think that the spider is such a memorable enemy, is that you actually have to change the way you play the game. I think it's a great introduction to the world. I think it's a real shame that there's nothing later on in the game that kind of equals it in the sense of a single scene. I get really frustrated in video games when they change up your moveset and suddenly you move slower, like in Mass Effect or Max Payne games when the character's injured or drunk and is moving very slowly for a section. I did try to jump then, but failed. I get really frustrated with those sections because you're used to travelling at a certain speed. But I think that Limbo does a really good job of slowing you down, because you now know that there is this huge threat behind you. And I'd say it's early enough in the game that you're not quite so used to the normal movement speed. Also a puzzle like that it works a lot better because you're a little bit slower, because you can't react quite so fast in this mode. So this is another reason the spider scene is so memorable, is because during this section you have to keep jumping backwards towards it. As it so slowly appears behind you. You can't run away from it, you have to keep going backwards, which is such a wonderful mechanic here. See, already we're back to our normal movement set. So that was just such a tiny section in an indie game, but they really put a lot of care into it. I love this as well. So this is what I'm talking about when I say the game's about loneliness. The first actual human we've seen. Except not really. It's a trick that's been put there by some unscrupulous people. You'll find that a few times throughout the game. That when you think you're going to be finding other people, when you think you're going to be making contact, reaching out to other people, it's an elaborate lie. I did not think I was going to make that jump. I mean, this is so well set up, you can clearly see what's going to happen. Kind of lulls you into a full sense of security for that next one, where you can't see what's going to happen. You think that that rumble is amazing. You're given this one really obvious trap, you feel really smart for dodging it, and so you jump ahead to the next one with just a little bit of confidence that's immediately taken away from you. I like that they allow the boy to operate this thing, even though there's no reason for it here, for him to be able to do it here. But it just kind of gives you more of a sense of belonging in the world, that you can do the same things these guys can, you can interact with things in the same way. Did I run a little bit too far? No, I just made it. So we haven't been given any reason why these guys should be out to get us, why they've set up all these traps. I've never got the impression that the traps were designed for me in particular, they're just there for anybody who might show up. That the world itself, these guys who live in there, are just hostile to towards all outsiders. I think that body hanging there in the background kind of... It's probably one of the things that made me feel like that you're not the first person to have been caught by them. And I know exactly what I've got to do here. But I'm gonna fail. Pretty sure I'm gonna... Yep. I really like the sound effects of the traps. I'm gonna deliberately die this time. Listen to the sound of the traps as they reopen after death. It's so slow and merciless, it's amazing. Okay, and run away, run away. And it takes just enough time, the camera just hangs there a little bit with you watching your dead body with this horrible, horrible creaking noise happening in the background. I think it's wonderfully timed how you only just miss that rope going up. Again, it's a part of this sense of loneliness that even when you try to interact with other people, you're just too late. And again, the game's going to make you wait. It's going to make you wait for the spider to catch up. You want to run away because it's horrible. Look at it with its hairy legs. But you can't run too fast because there's all these obstacles in the way. And you keep having to run back towards it. That's what the game's about. It's about keeping you on edge, keeping you on the edge of death, keeping you just between life and death in a limbo state. And again, I didn't even notice, but the camera's pulled back away to make me look really small and insignificant again as the spider reappeared. We're out in this huge open forest. And we sim some guys, and they run away from me because I'm being chased by a giant spider. It's just... it's so disgusting, things you have to do to survive in this game. I don't know if it's deliberate or not, the way this twitches as you run over it, or does the first time. I'd like to think they did put that in there. The hairs sticking out from the body are probably the most disgusting thing about this, to me. They're the bits that make me go, no way man, I would not want to touch that. That whole rolling scene, I think it's really well done, but it just makes me feel so uncomfortable. I think, having just defeated the spider, I think that's a good place to finish this first episode. Like I say, I plan on actually playing through the whole game and stopping at anything that really interests me design-wise, or narrative-wise. And I hope you stick with me for the whole thing, because this is one of my favourite games, and I really like talking about why I like games. So, I hope you join me next time.